Well, good afternoon and welcome wherever you might be to Coolangatta Beach and the Volleyball World Beach Pro Tour, the Gold Coast Futures event. What an absolute privilege to be bringing the action. My name is Jonathan Fogarty. Joining me in commentary for this women's round of 12 match, Ben Abbott. Ben, Australia v New Zealand. Get excited.
Can't help but not to. Very, very exciting. Thank you and welcome to everyone tuning in. Very, very exciting times this match. It's the #1 seeds of Australia taking on our friends from across the ditch, New Zealand, number 11 seeds in this round of 12 matchup. Our first referee, we welcome to the stand, Mr. Fong Nguyen. And joining him courtside, second referee, we saw him in the previous match, Mr. Pete Bowie.
Pete Bowie. Goodness me, underway. New Zealand in the green. Australia at the other end of the beach. This is Julia Tilley, I beg your pardon, the veteran. Used to play with Shauna Polly, but there's a roll shot. Phoebe Bell can't land the first one. Gets another opportunity. Second time's a charm for Phoebe Bell and Nikki Laird. Of course, they're in the dark blue tops for the Aussies. What are you looking forward to about this one, my friend?
Really exciting matchup. We, yesterday afternoon, floating around the court, still saw this New Zealand combination. Very, very competitive, very fast in their attack. We see a slightly faster tempo there. Well read by Bell, but this New Zealand combination, fairly new combination, have had many, many good results on the New Zealand summer for 2021-2022, including five even top 5 finishes, a first place and a couple of seconds and thirds as well. So a very successful New Zealand team. And from the Australians, very experienced, new combination coming together for the first time this summer. The 2016 Rio Olympian Nikki Laird and Phoebe Bell getting a bronze at the 2021 Asian Championships. We see an ace serve from Olivia MacDonald there, but what I like about the Australians specifically is their composure on court.
Well, let's see if it holds out in front of their hometown fans. Of course, Phoebe and Nikki won last weekend's Oz Championships together, so they have come into this event with a little bit of confidence. They came up against a bit of a smoky in a USA team in the first round of pool play and got beaten by them. So they haven't had it all their own way. Double hit called on the setting hands of Nikki Laird there. So see how they go in this one. Scoreboard in favour of Tilley MacDonald. 3-2 now, first set action. Julia Tilley, the veteran at 33 years of age of New Zealand women's beach volleyball. Olivia MacDonald, her 26-year-old partner, with the big loopy jump serve. It's going to be a free ball. That's not even going to make it over. So not a great serve reception. The last couple of points here. This jump serve from Olivia MacDonald. Just asking a few questions, Ben.
Absolutely. Didn't see a jump serve yesterday afternoon, so this is a bit of a shock to me and a surprise. I'm very impressed, all at the same time. So really testing the Australians early. 4-2 on the scoreboard. Hard on Phoebe Bell once more. Tight set. Covered well. Olivia MacDonald, red hot early. 5-2 on the first end switch.
Yeah, there it is. The Aussie girls not getting it all their own way by any means. We've seen a few games for Nikki and Phoebe this summer, and there's been a couple where they haven't started as well as they wanted. They've had to really find their form in the middle of the set, and then they've come home with a wet sail. So certainly the Kiwi combinations, Julia and Olivia, starting better. I don't think the conditions are doing enough to say that was the favoured end of the court. It's pretty benign here at Coolangatta Beach. Absolutely perfect day for beach volleyball. It must be said, this sudden death match, Nikki Laird on the serve reception, it's just going to be way too hard. The serving has been great so far from the Kiwis.
Yeah, a lot of pressure from that baseline, moving the Aussies around, forcing a timeout now from Australia as they trail this first set 6-2, and asking questions early, which is to be expected in this centre court. Round of 12 single elimination matchup.
Yeah, we talk about the experience of Julia Tilley. You were touching on it, Ben, earlier, that she got a first or a second on every event on the NZ Tour in 2021. She won every event on the NZ Tour in 2020. So, she's a lady who's got so much experience. And again, for the Kiwi teams, as it is for the Australian teams, fighting for the opportunity to represent their country at the Com Games in Birmingham later this year. So, this is part of their preparation. They want to be the Kiwi #1 women's team. So a good result this weekend absolutely helps them with that endeavour.
Very, very exciting times for the Commonwealth leading into another massive, massive Commonwealth Games, and only the second time the beach volleyball will feature in the Commonwealth Games. So the sport ever growing, especially in the Commonwealth, and exciting competition ahead. Tough serve once again from MacDonald. Clipping the tape this time around. They go on Nikki Laird, who's dug by Tilley. Nikki Laird's there every time, just sends it one wide.
Gosh, she'd done everything she could, Nikki Laird, on that occasion. A good swing, a couple of nice touches on the block. Not quite able to control the ball. So the Kiwis, 7-2. They are in a serving groove at the moment. They are now at the northern end of Coolangatta Beach. Hope you're enjoying the Gold Coast Futures Beach Pro Tour event. My name is Jonathan Fogarty. A privilege to be bringing you the coverage with Ben Abbott today here at Coolangatta Beach. That serve, the side out that they needed, the Aussie girls. They'll take a serve that goes long.
Absolutely. Just evading that baseline, though, Jonathan. It was another tough serve from Olivia MacDonald and continuing that service pressure on. Down the line this time on Julia Tilley. Bell with the scoop. Opportunity for Australia. Touched off the block over onto Bell with the defensive play. Second phase attack. And Bell gets it done this time.
It's a nice play from Phoebe Bell. She peeled back. That's a really hard shot to play, that one-handed knuckleball. She made it look really, really easy, but you're presenting such a small surface area to the volleyball. You don't always get the control that you're after. So she made that skill look really, really simple indeed. All credit to Nikki for setting her a good ball as well. But that's a clever second ball play from Olivia MacDonald. Saw the opportunity, took it well.
Well controlled there as well. Really tough pass coming in for MacDonald to be able to set that ball, but was able to snap at the top of her reach still and just place a ball with precision out of reach of the Bell defense. So 8-4 on the scoreboard. A serve from Julia Tilley this time.
Down the middle. Gosh, their serving game has been absolutely spot on the early parts of this first set. The combination of Julia Tilley and Olivia MacDonald in proud New Zealand couple of ladies repping really well here in a women's round of 12 match. Oh, back-to-back aces through the middle. They've used their time out, the Aussies too, so they need to unpack this service pressure that they're receiving, because it is putting them under incredible scoreboard pressure now. 10 points to 4. So both ends of the beach have been prosperous for the Kiwi girls from the baseline. This is Julia Tilley now getting some easy points. 10-4 on the side change. Aussies down by 6. Kiwi girls in control.
This time the Australians able to set up an attack. And Phoebe Bell, that is a confident swing there. Under immense pressure, and they find point number 5.
I love the confidence and the bravery from Nikki Laird on that occasion. She had a back to the net. She put the ball over her shoulder. Easily could have blown over, but it sat up in a perfect spot for that Phoebe Bell swing. So that'll be a confidence builder for both the ladies from the Australian combination. But the line shot, Julia Tilley has just been nerveless so far in this first set.
That's that experience coming through there. Beautiful part of the world that is Coolangatta Gold Coast, and Tilley making it her home here on centre court. 11-5 in this first set. Just wide.
Just for a moment, I think Olivia MacDonald thought she'd landed an ace. It's an interesting jump serve. She seems to get the ball a little bit behind her head when she contacts it, but getting some really good angles, a lot of good top spin. So the ladies from Australia take the ball back. What can they do from the service line? Nikki Laird retreating, not really at the net, not really back. Hard ball to get a touch on over your head in that situation.
Tilley back to the serve on Bell once more. And Phoebe Bell with the composure. Mentioned it earlier, all tournament long, coming up for the first few rounds here in Coolangatta. Phoebe Bell, her go-to play has been a high line or anything baby line, just evading that block. She's got such good skills at the top of her reach. And finds the court there. This time an opportunity for Bell on the defensive transition. Snaps off the top of the block and even utilising the block to find a way, and Australia on a healthy couple of points. Just a 4-point deficit now, Jonathan.
Yeah, nice ball control, both the Australian girls. Phoebe, a good read with the line defence. Nikki, again, in kind of a funky position to set a partner with a back to the net. Not much visibility, but back to setting hands. And Phoebe getting the job done. So a little mini comeback, the Aussie girls finding their form, but that's going to take us to the technical timeout. New Zealand 13 leading Australia 8. The combination of Julia Tilley and Olivia MacDonald leading this first set over Nicole Laird and Phoebe Bell. Our number 1 seeds from Australia, but when we come back, we'll see if the Aussies can fight back. All right, the ladies back out on a centre court here at Coolangatta Beach for the Beach Pro Tour Gold Coast Futures event. The Australian number 1 seeds trailing by 5. Laird and Bell on serve reception now, southern end of Coolangatta Beach. A really strong start from the Kiwi combination, and serving like that has just been spectacular. My word.
Absolutely right, Jonathan Fogarty. Dominating from this baseline in this first set is Olivia MacDonald. And an ace serve out of that technical timeout. Tough serve once more. Tilley gets the dig. New Zealand with the opportunity out of system. Controlled and kept alive. Full stretch, Nikki Laird. Conditions maybe picking up there as Olivia MacDonald looked like she just lost the ball a little bit, ever so slightly with the breeze.
They needed that, the Aussies. That was very, very fortunate. The breeze, absolutely, Ben Abbott caught that ball. So, gosh, that was a point you feel like the Aussie girls really needed. That trail by 5, 9-14. Nikki Laird at the baseline. She needs to serve and get in and be a presence of the net, but gosh, that hurts. That really hurts.
Yeah, really tough. All the hard work and the hustle and the point before. It's just a momentum killer. If you can't go back and convert from the baseline, not even giving yourself that offensive opportunity. So New Zealand with point number 15, maintaining that buffer.
That is a nice swing though. Phoebe Bell, she's hit pretty well. A lefty. On this occasion, she was on the right side of the beach. It really opened up that cross court for her. So 10-15. This is a serve that's got to find its way in a court. From the Aussies' perspective, they've got to put this Kiwi combination under a bit more pressure than they're currently under. It's going to be a free ball. Here's their chance. Nikki Laird at full stretch. Oh, well, that is heartbreaking. The Kiwis winning points with free ball digs is going to absolutely hurt the Aussies.
To be fair, Jonathan, that was quite an impressive, aggressive free ball dig there. She was outside of her 8x8 on her side of the court, and she's cut it with pace across the net. And
absolutely.
Unexpected, really, from the Australians, but a point on the board. Bell sets down the line. Tilley reads. Bell's there once more. MacDonald at net. Cut shot. Phoebe Bell. Australia with a bit of confidence there.
She's been good in that situation, Phoebe. She's on those transition balls where she's had to come up with a winner. She's been pretty good. She's found a way. Another point for the Aussies. 17-11 the scoreboard now. The Kiwis up by 6 still. They're going to change to the southern end of the beach. Julia Tilley, the shorter of the two Kiwi ladies. Olivia MacDonald, she's the one without the hat. Julia is in the visor. In good control of this first set up against the number 1 seeds, showing no respect to their trans-Tasman cousins.
Tight set. And MacDonald's there drawing the net touch from Bell, but again, Olivia MacDonald in control, has been the dominant player in this first set, Jonathan.
Yeah, she really has taken this first set both from the service line. Defensively, she's been great and really good at the net as well. So 18-11 now. Tilley back to the service line. We are ready to go again. New Zealand combination in a comfortable position, leading by 7. What can Julia Tilley do with her serve? Goes after Nikki Laird. The dig is back in play. They are scrambling again, the Aussies. Phoebe Bell misses down the line. My goodness, they cannot put a foot wrong at the moment. The New Zealand ladies playing some wonderful beach volleyball.
Absolutely, in some really good touch. Yesterday afternoon's match went to 3. They went down 2-1 to a US combination, but they've come out fighting in really good rhythm. Really good rhythm here in this first set, as a handling error is called from the first official. New Zealand will take point number 19, even 20 on the board now for a set point opportunity.
A bit of an inquiry from Phoebe Bell, the team captain. Nikki Laird's setting call is a double again. I think Phoebe's not happy with that call. She's not going to get it back though, so gosh, it is a whole bunch of set points on the board now for Team New Zealand. Tilley and MacDonald. Julia Tilley back to the service line. 11-20, 9 set points. The Kiwis in the first set of this women's round of 12. They hit Phoebe Bell. And the joust of the net goes to the Aussies on this occasion.
Bragging rights for that point alone. Everybody loves a joust around the world. Both athletes at the net, top of their reach, pushing hard. And all the push-ups counting for that particular moment. Another opportunity for New Zealand now. And Laird says no.
Well, there's a little bit of fight in this one yet in the first set.
Hang on just a minute. Beach volleyball fans. Australia, the #1 seeds, fighting hard now.
There were 9 set points for the Kiwis. Now there's 7, but the Aussie girls still on the tightrope. They cannot put a foot wrong, with this first set will be over, and it is over. 21-13. Julia Tilley, Olivia MacDonald, and a little bit of a boil over. The crowd is hushed here at Coolangatta Beach. 21-13. Wonderful beach volleyball from this Kiwi combination. They have taken it up to the first seeds, and when we come back from the break, let's see if the Aussies can fight back. Welcome back to Coolangatta Beach and the Beach Pro Tour, the Gold Coast Futures event. We are in a women's round of 12. The winner of this match will go through to the quarterfinals in the top 8. The loser takes 9th, and it is the #1 seeds who are under siege at the moment. Phoebe Bell and Nikki Laird dropping the first set pretty comfortably to a fired-up Julia Tilley and Olivia MacDonald from New Zealand. Let's see if the Aussies can put it all behind them. Phoebe Bell will start us up in the second set. Joining me in commentary is Ben Abbott. Ben, that was not the way the Aussies wanted that first set to play out.
Not at all, but for what Australia threw at them, New Zealand could counteract with absolutely everything. Like you mentioned that first set, they were just putting no foot wrong, and Australia were just hustling and fighting for everything, but couldn't quite find a way. They've got a positive start here in the second set. You could tell both athletes already from Australia fired up.
I think it was the service pressure, particularly of Olivia MacDonald, that really caught the Aussies on the back foot. She served great, a number of aces. I'm going to say 5, I think, in the end. Or so much serve pressure, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but interestingly, isn't it funny how momentum can change in a heartbeat? They can't land 2 in a row, so the Aussies out to a lead. Gosh, the freedom of knowing that you are absolutely got everything to play for in this set. It's all or nothing for the Aussies, isn't it, Ben, in this one?
Yeah, you can't leave anything out there. And Nikki Laird crushes the overpass. And you can see body language, everything on your screens. The Australians have come out with absolute purpose. Calling an early timeout is the New Zealand combination. And just like that, 3-1, second set, must-win set for Australia. Into it is the Australians.
Absolutely. I'm sure the Aussie beach volleyball fans would love to see a third set, love to see this go to 3. The Kiwi girls, I'm sure, and all their fans back home, I hope you're enjoying, if you're watching on the Volleyball World YouTube channel. Give us some comments, give us a shout out, tell us what you're enjoying about the coverage here on the Gold Coast. It's just wonderful. And the weather, Ben, you've turned it on. Is there nothing you can't do?
I have done my best, sir, and continue to do so as we go into the final stages of this competition.
There we are. Look at
That's us. Hello, friends and families around
That's
the
right.
world. The volleyball fans joining us here on the Gold Coast, the Beach Pro Tour.
Wear sunscreen, kids, or when you're 25 like me, you end up looking like you're 52.
Still an absolute stallion, sir.
Oh, we are back. The real athletes back out on the centre court. Nikki Laird, the Aussie girl, serving pretty well. Timeout called by the Kiwis, but that will help. My goodness. Well, I don't know what to make of this sport of beach volleyball, Ben. You have a team that is absolutely on fire and unstoppable. You take a break for the end of set, and the world changes, and the Aussie girls are up with a 4-1 lead. It's a better play. Olivia MacDonald with the second ball. Phoebe Bell couldn't retrieve. So 2-4. Interesting times here. The Aussie girls, last chance saloon. They win this set. They go to 3. They lose this set. Their weekend is over. And the number 1 seeds will be bundled out in the round of 12. And that will not be what their plans were for the weekend.
Not at all, but a massive and impressive start here for Australia. 5-2 on the first end switch. If these are your favourite athletes, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you let us know. You drop a line wherever you are viewing from around the world. The Beach Pro Tour, the International Beach Volleyball, back on the sands of the Coolangatta Gold Coast, the Futures event here. You can find out all the latest results and the schedule. Download the Volleyball World app, including tagging your favourite athletes on your posts around the world, hashtagging like a pro, and feature your athletes as they do battle for you all across the world. 5-2. 3 serving 5 now. Apologies on the score. Bell with the composure. The pokey across the body.
Yeah, she's been good at that. I talked about that in the first set. That's one of the things they can really build on, the Aussie girls, is Phoebe's siding out has been great. Her serve reception's been really good when the serve's been in her zone. So many great serves were hit by the Kiwis in the first set. But when Phoebe's got a good pass on the ball, she's looked really assured. That serve, though, that's back-to-back serves going out for the Aussies. You don't like to harbour on or labour on that point, but you've got it when you've got the team down a little bit. You've got to make that serve count. So 4-6, the Kiwis there or thereabouts.
Just into the tape this time. So just to the right of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you see a couple of flags creeping in. And that's the breeze picking up now. It's starting to play a little bit of a havoc. Teams and athletes will adjust. As we get a touch day serve from Phoebe Bell. There's a hybrid serve. She did that at the Australian Championships on the weekend, Jonathan. And she's brought it into the game here. And massive artillery from the baseline. Hard flat float. Hybrid spin serve. This one just a float on MacDonald through the middle. Down the line. And sending a wide, though, and Australia extend this margin, holding a 9-4 lead.
Wow, this is really interesting. Back-to-back-to-back errors. MacDonald, who was absolutely spectacular in that first set, I don't think it's uncharitable to come out and say has not played her best volleyball in the second. The Aussie girls look a really different team at 10-4 in the second set than what we saw. They only won 13 points in that first set, so this is a much better showing, but then again, they have to play better to keep this match alive.
Absolutely. This was the scoreline in the first set in New Zealand's favour from memory. So this is Australia's set at the moment. Australia's set to win as they continue this service pressure, and maybe that's the difference right now. It's the service pressure, being able to ride the confidence of your serve and your pressure that you're building into your team's game. And this is what the Aussies are relying on here the most.
A little bit of experience shown by Julia Tilley. Knows that there's a bit of a run of points going against her team. So one of those acceptable time-wasting tactics, the lens clean of the sunglasses that they do within their rights to use. So it's absolutely in the spirit of the game from Julia Tilley. But the service pressure has been excellent from Phoebe Bell. Here's Nikki Laird's chance. And she takes it on the first opportunity. Although a taller athlete, Nikki Laird, I beg your pardon, has still got a really good jump. She's one of the biggest leapers in the women's program. She's worked hard on a leap. She doesn't get enough credit for how high she contacts the ball by putting in such a good leap.
Hard serve again from Bell. This time, MacDonald handles it well, finds a much-needed point for New Zealand.
But the Aussies are fired up, Ben Abbott.
Oh,
They've come
goodness.
out. They've been shook by this first set. 21-13, they dropped the first set. Julia Tilley, Olivia MacDonald just threw all caution to the wind in the first set, but they've tightened up a little in the second. And to be fair to the Aussie girls, they're playing much better in this set. Phoebe Bell again, a little bit off the net. What's her play? It is clever. Didn't try and overplay her hand off the block. That's some volleyball smarts from the left-hander from Queensland.
Absolutely. This is what the Australians did yesterday. They dropped the first set, just going down by a couple, came out firing. It's just a whole different mentality. Two of the fiercest competitors on the Australian tour within Nikki Laird and Phoebe Bell. And this is that same mentality. The second set that they won yesterday was a 21-12 scoreline. And they've got that same mentality now, that look in their eyes, Jonathan, and it's not something you want to see from as an opposition player.
It looked pretty scary through the net, I'd imagine. Good blocking, though, by the Kiwis on transition. They needed that little settler. So back at the service line again, Team New Zealand. Serving tough to Nikki Laird. Oh, but Phoebe Bell, just even those little trouble shots are working out for the left-hander at the moment. That's wasn't a great pass from Nikki, but Phoebe had the presence of mind and the athleticism to really balance, compose herself and hit a winner. So these are the must-win points. 14-16. Gosh, they'd love to go to the technical timeout. 15-6 up. A nice block from Nikki Laird here would be tasty from the Australians. Oh, it's going to go out. So that'll do. That'll absolutely do. The Aussies hitting back. Second set action at the technical timeout. Australia 15. Lead New Zealand 6. It is tense here in Coolangatta. Back here on centre court at Coolangatta Beach for the Volleyball World Beach Pro Tour Gold Coast Futures event, showcasing some of the up-and-coming athletes of the beach volleyball world. We've got a really good Australian and a really good Kiwi team. Nicole Laird, Phoebe Bell up against Julia Tilley and Olivia MacDonald. The Kiwis in green, the Aussies in blue. Kiwi combination winning the first set, 21-13. They were really, really good, but the Aussies and our number one seeds have hit back hard. They lead 15-7, but the Kiwis have the ball. A must-win set for the Aussies to stay in the tournament. It's as simple as that. My name is Jonathan Fogarty. I'm joined in commentary by my friend Ben Abbott. And Ben, fingernails are being bitten all around the volleyball world at the moment.
Absolutely, Jonathan. Thank you for having me here. We are courtside, and it's a privilege to be back once again. And we see a nice block there from Olivia MacDonald of New Zealand. Very, very tense set here. Australia in control.
That's delightful.
As we see there.
Under pressure, under fire, Phoebe Bell, a low middle set. Don't know if that was the call, but she responded with a little pokey perfectly. So 16-8. All the questions being asked of Phoebe Bell's offense at the moment, she's been able to answer in this second set. The serve, though, again, just eluding them at some key moments. So they're in control of this second set, the Aussies, but they're just opening the door a little bit for the New Zealand combo, Ben.
This is it. I feel both teams as well, Jonathan, have thrived off the back of their serving pressure. The serving pressure has built the confidence into their offense, and Phoebe Bell just sends it wide.
Missed. Wow.
That would have been impressive.
Outrageous angle. So Phoebe calls a timeout. So that's interesting. They have only just come out of the technical timeout, and they've dropped a couple of points in a row. So for Tilley and MacDonald, they've got the good vibes. They've got the momentum. So clever from Phoebe Bell as the captain of that combination to say, no, let's take a break. Let's not let this get out of control. So if you're the Aussie girls, Ben Abbott, you're sitting down in the chairs now. What's the message? What's the conversation about, do you think?
I think, if anything, it's just taking the breath, understanding the situation you're in, being able to trust the processes, trust the systems, and go back to what you guys know best. The service pressure from New Zealand will come, but Australia's offense and their progress with a 16-10 scoreline, they still have the advantage. They are still in the control seat right now, and a simple pass, dig, set to get things back on their terms. That's all they need. So I don't think a lot of words would have been said in that timeout just then. It's simply just break the momentum and going back to what they do best. So a dig by Julia Tilley. Bell, much the same, has to go. An opportunity for New Zealand, and Nikki Laird had to make a play, just couldn't quite control it.
Did she mean that, Olivia MacDonald? That is a sneaky play with her back to the opposition to disguise that dig back over, catching Nikki Laird completely by surprise. So really nice little passage of play. They read the line shot for Phoebe Bell. So 11-16, closing the gap. It's tense here. Sudden death set for the Aussies, but that service error. Well, they'll take it, the Aussie girls. They'll take a 17-11 scoreboard. And I've got to say, Ben Abbott, I think now the southern end of the beach that the Aussie girls are moving to, for the service pressure that Nikki and Phoebe can bring when they're on form, this is the end you want to be serving from.
Absolutely. Phoebe Bell going back to the baseline now. We've seen her service pressure. I think she's going to go with a hybrid serve that she has in her arsenal, where it's a top spin, curve in the middle, putting the pressure on there. Opportunity for Australia. Bell on 2. Finds the sand. 18 on the board.
It's hard to overestimate the quality of that play from Phoebe Bell. She was always going to hit that second ball, but she didn't try and hit the cover off it. She had a sneaky peek, knew where she wanted to put it, and just put it there with enough composure and enough authority. Couldn't back it up with the serve, though. So 11-18 becomes 12-18. The Kiwis within touching distance, but the Aussie girls already got one half an eye on the third set, but the job's not done for the Aussie volleyball fans. They're urging them forward, and a service error. Well, Julia Tilley, not her best work. 19-12 now.
This situation now that Australia's in, a couple of points away from wrapping up the second set, forcing to a third and deciding set, knowing there's a quarterfinal on the line. Jonathan Fogarty, New Zealand, what do they do now? Do they try and just build momentum, knowing that the set may be out of reach?
I think the important thing is if they finish it on their terms, they finish strong and try and bring some positivity and momentum into the third. It's not there yet. The Aussie girls have still got 2 points to get. But if the Kiwis do drop this one, you want to drop it with some positivity. You want to put some doubt in the opposition's mind. Tough serve. That's a good start. Nikki Laird does very well. Phoebe Bell with the joust. Do you mind, Phoebe Bell?
Wow.
Brings up the set point with a little bit of aggression above the net. The left-handed Queenslander, what a play to bring up 7 set points and a much-needed second set win, perhaps for the Aussies. They're not there yet. They serve tough again. Phoebe's been great. That ball's there for Nikki if she wants it, and she takes it. And Ben Abbott, we are going to a third set.
Oh, Jonathan Fogarty, sit back down, sir. You are up and about for the Australians who are taking this match to a third and deciding set. We need to race to 15 points to claim the winners of this match. And when we return, they race for a spot in the quarterfinals.
Alrighty, the athletes coming back out onto the court. What an engrossing match we've seen. The New Zealand combination, Julia Tilley, Olivia MacDonald, won the first set 21-13, but they've dropped the second. Nicole Laird, Phoebe Bell with the momentum. A third set to 15. We're underway. Phoebe to start us up from the southern end. And an ace is the best possible way to do it.
100%. Phoebe Bell continuing that momentum from the baseline, from the second set. And this is something New Zealand struggled with coming out of the first set into the second, and Australia looking to capitalise with the service pressure. Hustle from Olivia MacDonald, but Phoebe Bell on a roll.
Wow, this little, as you call it, Ben, rightly, the hybrid serve. It's a jump serve that she's putting a bit of topspin on. It's not a full extended jump serve. She's just going for placement and enough on the ball into the breeze to make it really tough to receive. Serving deep on MacDonald again. beg your pardon, Julia Tilley, and then the block at the net from Tilley was good enough. Oh, Nikki Laird had a good clamp on the ball too. Oh, it's frustrating.
Once again, all those push-ups coming in. The just one this time by New Zealand. So Julia Tilley back to the baseline. 1-7-2, an opportunity to level things up. The switch of ends in the third set, Jonathan. 5 points. We'll see the athletes rotate ends of center court. Great dig in defense. Julia Tilley.
Oh, it's on the line too. Nikki Laird peeled back, made the decision to leave it be, but it's just caught the sideline. So Tilley resplendent with the defense, and then her roll shot was inch perfect. So 2 points apiece, 1 set apiece, nothing between these two teams. The tension is being ratcheted up quite a few notches. They go back to Nikki Laird. Can she land a punch? She sure can. It'll do for 3-2 and a side change for the Aussies.
Tough swinging, taking on the defense, back in the skills. Advantage now as they go around for the first end switch. Very, very early in this third set, though. And again, service pressure will be leading the way from both ends, developing the momentum for both teams.
At stake, a spot in the quarterfinals this afternoon. The loser of this is eliminated from the Gold Coast Futures event and will take a 9th place. Neither of these teams wants to finish in this match. Nikki Laird bringing a bit of something from the service line. 4-2 scoreboard. And as you said, Ben Abbott, we only go to 15 in the third set, so little 2- and 3-point margins can be so much more important in a third set. Harder to catch up if you let the opposition go. Here's a transition ball, perhaps the Aussies. Opportunity knocks. Does Phoebe Bell answer? MacDonald back into play. It's going to be Nikki Laird, perhaps. What has she got? She's got it all, and a big swing and a winner for 5 points to 2.
The crucial stage of that play there was Phoebe Bell's bump set just then. You see a little adjustment on her bump to keep it into the wind, to maybe sit above the Laird right shoulder. And rewarding the set is Nikki Laird, putting it away for point number 5.
The Kiwi lady's just tightening up a little bit. The experience of Tilley, what can she do? Laird doesn't block and pays the price. That is a very crafty line shot from the veteran. 177 centimetres. She's the shortest of the 4 athletes out there, but when the ball's on her terms and in her range, she can hit shots from anywhere, and that was a great exhibition of the Julia Tilley beach volleyball skill.
Jump serve by MacDonald. So effective in that first set. Lost a little bit of momentum in the second, but muscled down. Another joust at the net, high above the tape.
Once again, that Olivia MacDonald jump serve into the breeze. We saw that in the first set, Ben, when she caught fire from the baseline. I know the Aussie fans don't want her to catch fire again. This is her time to shine. What can MacDonald do again with a heavy topspin ball?
This time down the middle, Laird takes it. MacDonald is there, and this is the fire that you were just talking about.
It's the overpass again.
Correct. Just tight. Just a tight second touch ball from the Australians. Calling a timeout. 5 points all. So level pegging. We start again. Both on level terms. They'll switch ends when they come out of this timeout. But again, hard to pick them as we see momentum shifting both ways early in this third set.
Yeah, absolutely. Tense times here. The Beach Pro Tour Gold Coast Futures event. Kiwi combination. Julia Tilley, Olivia MacDonald won the first set pretty comfortably. They were well beaten in the second, but they've come back. They've recomposed themselves. They've found their game again. And at 5-all and 1 set all, this match is on the line. One of these teams bows out, as we've said. The Aussie girls in the blue tops. That is the #1 seeds for this event. Nicole Laird, the taller of the two athletes. Phoebe Bell, her partner, up against Julia Tilley. She's the one in the visor. Olivia MacDonald is her partner. It is MacDonald back to the service line. 5 points apiece, as I've said. Breeze behind her now. How does she adjust her serve?
Doesn't quite adjust it there. Just with the breeze at her back, the toss is going to go a little bit further in front of the serving arm, and
you're welcome, Australia.
You see that into the net there. So Bell, the hybrid serve, is it the float, is the hybrid? Bit of in between just there, goes on MacDonald. Down the line, Bell with the scoop and an opportunity. As Laird must have got a touch on that block. They continue on. No block, sent it long.
Wow.
Confusion in the mind of
That's-
MacDonald's offensive attack.
That's volleyball karma, Ben Abbott, because I think Nikki Laird was the only person that knew that she'd touched that ball and had to dig it over. And the volley gods smiled on her honesty and gave her the error. So there you go, 7-5, 2 big plays by the Aussies. She touched that one as well, so this has got to come over. She gets another chance to set her block. The Kiwi girls, though, with a little off-speed. MacDonald, uncharacteristic or unconventional, but wins the point. So 6 points to 7 now.
In Australia, we called that the old sand monster. It's probably known all around the world, but occasionally your legs just get eaten down by the sands. This one on Coolangatta Beach, and still finding a way, keeping a composure. 6 serving 7. Serving on Laird, high in the middle. Bell pushes on. Laird down the line, top of the wrist snap.
Oh, and maybe a little boo-boo for Nikki. She's gone down and possibly a minor injury. Looks like she's grabbed her left ankle. Hopefully all is okay with Nikki Laird. She landed a little bit awkwardly, as again, that sand monster maybe jumped up and bit her on the ankle. So you don't like to see the athletes grasping at body parts like that. So 8-6, the Aussies, a little bit of control, but Nikki Laird a bit discombobulated at the moment and serves that one into the belly of the net. So 9-6 for the side change. She doesn't look like she's 100%, Ben Abbott.
No, obviously playing a little bit of mind games now as they go around. Australia maintain the 1-point buffer, and Nikki Laird, the fierce competitor she is not going to let this stop her. It may impact her game ever so slightly, but
does MacDonald hit her with the serve? They know she's maybe a little bit proppy. Does MacDonald go after the athlete that might have the little injury? Let's see. Of course she does. Oh, that's a double hit if ever I've seen one by MacDonald, or a lift, and that's a tremendous call by the first referee. She's not in the blocking action at that stage, so she's made one contact and then hit it again. That's a carry from where I'm sitting. First referee, Fong Nguyen, goodness me, he is one of a kind. 9-7, the ladies from New Zealand just getting clarification, but I think that's a carry. So they go back to MacDonald now.
lovely shot. Finesse this time from Olivia MacDonald over the top of the block. Definitely out of reach, and that's a great shot into the conditions. The ball's just going to dip that a little bit faster because of the breeze. And Julia Tilley goes back to the serve now. 8 points, serving 9. Hard, flat, down the line on Bell. Tight set again. Crush.
That's cash money.
Absolutely.
Cha-ching here on centre court. Nikki Laird put up the sweetest ball. And Phoebe Bell has ignited down the line. So that's going to give her a lot of confidence. They've been overpassing that ball, Ben Abbott, from this side. But that one's set up perfectly. 10-8. And then an ace. Can you believe what you're seeing? Australian beach volleyball fans finding their voice, because the Aussie girls have now got a 3-point lead, 11 points to 8. And it's the Kiwis who are under a little bit of pressure on centre court.
Absolutely. Laird, like we said, not letting a potential injury impact her game. Hard and flat on Tilley once more. No block. Laird gets a defensive touch, but New Zealand find a way in that point. Australia maintain the buffer by 2 as they go around. 11 points, 2-9, Australia's favour. And Jonathan, business end of this third set. Business end of the match, and potentially the business end for one of these teams in this competition.
It's not business time, it's overtime now. These ladies, goodness me, what a narrow margin. Both teams have 11-9. Aussies lead by 2. First team to 15 with a 2-point margin goes through to a quarterfinal, all to play for a heap of points, a heap of World Tour points, a heap of pride. Every little error, every little moment just gets magnified. We are in the crucible now. We are under pressure, and it's the Aussies who just have the best of it at the moment. At 12-9, it's going to be hard for the Kiwis to come back from here, Ben Abbott.
Maintaining the advantage. And you would say at the good end of centre court as well, with the conditions, serving from south to north. Bell with the hybrid serve on MacDonald. Off the net. Teed off by Olivia MacDonald, a really confident player there, and a much-needed confidence boost for New Zealand.
Yeah, no, that was a good swing. That was a nice she had clear vision. She knew what she wanted to achieve. That deep middle spike is, it's a high percentage shot, it's a clever shot, and it's a very hard shot to defend. So all credit to Olivia MacDonald. 10-12. A couple of big serves need from the Kiwis. They've got the breeze behind them. They're going to go after Phoebe again, who's been pretty darn good, it must be said. And a net touch on MacDonald. Well, that's going to make it even harder, 13-10. The Australian fans just relaxing a little bit more. The Kiwis with it all to do right now.
Absolutely. A few New Zealand fans in the crowd courtside. Obviously, the Australian fans are overpowering at the moment, but led to the serve. A serve, and what a way to bring up a set and a match point. A spot up for grabs, quarterfinals, Jonathan Fogarty.
Well. Nicole Laird, help yourself to something from the top shelf. That is 4 match points for the Aussies, as my friend Ben Abbott says. It is a match point ball. Nikki Laird, maybe a bit busted. Oh, and what a way. A double hit call, the lift call to give them the match. My goodness, can you believe the scenes here on centre court? What a tragedy for Julia Tilley and Olivia MacDonald. They have lost no fans with the way they played beach volleyball this weekend, but it is the #1 seeds. Nicole Laird, Phoebe Bell through to a quarterfinal. The #1 seeds from Australia are through to this afternoon's top 8.